livers. Question 2 in verse 12 and 22. For the Lord will not forsake his people for his great name's sake, because it has pleased the Lord to make you his people. Why did the Lord make Israel his people in the scriptures? And how do we become his people? In verse 12 and 23, moreover, as for me, far be it from me that I should sin against the Lord in ceasing to pray for you, but I will teach you the good and the right way. What does it mean, and how can we, especially word ministers, apply it to our lives? In the last time, Samuel anointed Saul as the first king of Israel upon the people's demands approved by God, but not all the people obeyed Saul as the king. In the 1 Samuel chapter 10, 1, 21, 26, 27. Then Samuel took a flask of oil and poured it on his head and kissed him and said, Is it not because the Lord has anointed you command over his inheritance? 21. When he had caused the tribe of Benjamin to come near by their families, the family of Matri was children, and Saul, the son of Kish, was children. But when they sought to him, he could not be found. Verse 26. And Saul also went home to Gibeah, and valiant men went with him, whose hearts God had touched. But some rebels, some disagreeing people said, How can this man save us? So they despised him and brought him no presents, but he held. So Saul held his peace. Some Israelites doubted as the king of Israel, but Saul kept silent, waiting for the Lord's direction to confirm the first king of Israel, whom all people would agree. Verse chapter 11. Then the Neshi, the Ammonite, came. Neshi, king of the Ammonites, in chapter 12, verse 12, see above the map, and encamped against Jabesh Gilead. And the old man of Jabesh said to Nahashi, Make a covenant with us, and we will serve you. Against Jabesh Gilead, that city was located in the tribe of Gad area, one tribe of Israel. The Ammonite invaded the city of Jabesh Gilead. Make a covenant with us, and we will serve you. The citizens of Gad tribe in Israel tried to submit to the Ammonite by peace treaty. Verse 2. Nahashi, the Ammonite, answered him, On this condition I will make a covenant with you, that I may put out all your right eyes and bring reproach on all Israel. Nahashi suggests Jabesh the conditional covenant for the treaty upon taking out the right eyes of every citizen of Jabesh. To shame all Israel. Verse 3. Then the elders of Jabesh said to him, Hold off for 7 days, that we may send the messengers to all the territory of Israel, and then, if there is no one to save us, we will come out to you. The representative of Jabesh asked 7 days for the answer to Nahashi, looking for any helper from other tribes of Israel, not established as the kingdom of Israel yet in full. See verse 14, renew the kingdom there. So Jabez sent messengers to all the tribe of Israel. Verse 4, so the messengers came to Gibeah of Saul and told the news in the hearing of the people, and all the people lifted up their voices and wept. Not only Saul, but all the people heard of the reproach message and wept. Verse 5, now there was Saul coming behind the herd from the field, and Saul said, what troubled the people that they weep? And they told him the words of a man of Jabez. While Saul was working with domestic animals such as cattle, he heard of the reproach message from people. Note Saul was not reigning Israel yet, because all the people did not agree Saul yet. Verse 6, then the Spirit of God came upon Saul when he heard this news, and his anger was greatly aroused. The anger by the Spirit of God is righteous for God's sake, but the anger by flesh is against God's sake. Mark chapter 3, 1-5. And he entered the synagogue again, and a man was there who had a withered hand. So they watched him closely, whether he would heal him on the Sabbath, so that they might accuse him. And Jesus said to the man who had the withered hand, step forward. Then he said to them, is it lawful on the Sabbath to do good or to do evil, to save life or to kill? But they kept silent. And when he had looked around at him with anger, being grieved by the hardness of their hearts, Jesus said to them, stretch out your hands. And he stretched it out, and his hand was restored as whole as the other part. Matthew chapter 5, verse 22. But I say to you that whoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. And whoever says his brother Locker or Stonehead shall be in danger of the council. But whoever says you're fool shall be in danger of fire. Colossians chapter 8. But now you yourselves are to put off all these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy language out of your mouths. Verse 6, then verse 7. So he took a yoke of oxen and cut them in pieces and sent them throughout all the territories of Israel by the hands of a messenger, saying, whoever does not go out with sword and Samuel to battle, so it shall be done to his oxen. And the fear of the Lord fell on the people, and they came out with one consent. Saul killed about 2 oxen in pieces, and sent them out to all territories where the man should go to battle, or to be dead like them. The fear of the Lord, they one consent. Upon the fear of the Lord, the man agreed to battle unanimously. Then verse 8, when he numbered them in Bezek, the children of Israel were 300,000, and the men of Judah 30,000. See the above map close to Jabez. Although Judah was one of the 12 tribes in Israel, Judah was separated, because Messiah would come from Judah tribe. Micah 5:2. But you reports to me the one to ruler in Israel, whose goings forth are from of old, from Asti. Verse 9, and they said to messengers who came, this you shall say to the men of Jabesh Gilead, tomorrow by the time the sun is hot, you shall have help. Then the messengers came and reported it to the men of Jabesh, and they were glad. The messengers reported to Jabesh about the children of Israel to help Jabesh by afternoon. Then Jabesh men were glad. Then therefore the man of Jabesh said, tomorrow we will come out to you, and you may do with us whatever seems good to you. Jabesh men said they would join the battle of Israel against the Ammonites. 11. So it was on the next day that Saul put the people in 3 companies, and they came into the midst of the camp in the morning watch and killed the Ammonites until the heat of the day. And it happened that those who survived were scattered, so that no 2 of them were left together. Tomorrow Saul did the strategic attack. Israel's common strategy in the world to resist the enemy's ability. In 3 companies into the midst of the camp in the early morning, and killed Ammonites and scattered them fully. 12. Then the people said to Samuel, who is he who said, shall reign of us? Bring the man that we may put to death. In 1 Samuel chapter 10, 27, some rabbis said, how can this man save us? Some Israelites doubted Saul as reigning king of Israel. The people asked Samuel to kill them now. But Saul said, not a man shall be put to death this day. For today the Lord has accomplished salvation in Israel. Saul calmed down the asking people not to kill the doubting rebels, because today was a victorious day when the Lord delivered Jabesh from Ammonites by the men of Israel. Verse 14, then Samuel said to the people, come, let us go to Gilgal and renew the kingdom there. Samuel asked people to renew the kingdom of Israel at Gilgal, close to Jerusalem. So all the people went to Gilgal, and there they made Saul king before the Lord in Gilgal. There they made a sacrifice of peace offerings before the Lord, and there Saul and all the men of Israel rejoiced greatly. Finally, all people confirmed Saul as the first king of Israel without opponents. Sacrifice after the offering, a sacrifice to the Lord, all people showed that they sacrifice peacefully and joyfully with the Lord. Leviticus chapter 1. When his offering is a sacrifice, peace offering, if he offers it of the herd, whether male or female, he shall offer it without blemish before the Lord. Then they are joined all together. Chapter 1, verse 1. Now Samuel said to all Israel, Samuel's speech to Israel, indeed I have heeded your voice in all that you said to me, and have made a king over you. And now here is the king Saul walking before you, and I am old and gray-headed, and two of my sons are with you. I have walked before you from my childhood to this day. After Samuel the Ephraimite was weaned, she was placed by Eli the priest in the temple of God. He was the last judge, prophet, and priest. Samuel means that Hannah asked for him from the Lord. 1 Samuel chapter 1, 1 to 20. Now there was a certain man of Ramathaim Jotham, and mountain of Ephraim, and his name was Echlahar, the son of Jabin, the son of Elihu, the son of Tob, the son of Job, an Ephraimite. And he had two wives. The name of one was Hannah, the name of the other Peninnah. Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children. So it came to pass in process of time that Hannah conceived and bore a son and called his name Samuel, saying, because I ever asked for him from the Lord. Asked Lord. Verse 3, here I am, witness against me before the Lord and before his anointed Saul, whose ox have I taken, or whose donkey have I taken, or whom I have cheated, whom I have oppressed, from whose have them I received any tribe, any bribe with which to blind my eyes, I will restore it to you. If I deprive the sum of a property, cheated, oppressed, receive any bribe, I will pay back. Verse 4, they said, you have not cheated us, oppressed us, nor have you taken anything from any man's hands. They answered, absolutely not. Absolutely no. If Samuel must be honest and fair judge, must have been prophet and priest for the people, before God and Saul. Then he said to them, the Lord is a witness against you, and his anointed is a witness, the king, this day that you have not found anything in my hand. And they answered, he is a witness, God is a witness. Then Samuel said, people, it is the Lord has raised up Moses and Aaron, and who brought your fathers up from the land of Egypt. Samuel showed up the place of God in the history of Israel, because the people should not lose the first love of God, but keep on the love of God heartily, most truly. For example, praise of God in the history of America, in God we trust. Our forefathers were looking to God for wisdom and guidance in founding USA. How about today? To me or to us? Verse 7, now therefore stand still, that I may reason with you before the Lord concerning all the righteous acts of the Lord, which he did to you and your fathers, when Jacob had gone into Egypt, and your fathers cried out to the Lord. Then the Lord sent Moses and Aaron, who brought your fathers out of Egypt and made them dwell in this place. And when they forgot the Lord their God, he sold them into the hand of Sisera, commander of the army, Hajar, into the hand of Philistines, into the hand of the king of Moab, and they fought against them. Then they cried out to the Lord, and said, we have sinned, because we have forsaken the Lord to serve the Baal Ashtoreth. It is time over Judges time. Judges time, talking about that. So that is idol. Deliver us from the hand of our enemies, will serve you. Verse 11. And the Lord sent Jerubbaal, Bedan, Jephthah, and Samuel. Jerubbaal, Gideon, the judge, destroyed the altar with Baal. Then he was called and Jerubbaal. Chapter 6:32. Therefore, on that day he called him Jerubbaal, saying, let Baal plead against him, because he had torn down his altar. Bedan, Barak, the co-minister with the Deborah, the judge, judges the 4:8. And Barak said to her, if you will go with me, then I will go. But if you will not go with me, I will not go. and delivered and you out of the hand of your enemies on every side, and you dwelt in safety. And when you saw the Nahashi, king of the Amorites, came against you, you said to me, no, but a king shall reign of us, when the Lord your God was your king. They wanted to change it from theocracy to dynasty because they rejected God as their king. 1 Samuel chapter 8 to 7. And the Lord said to Samuel, hear the voice of people in the old days. They say to you, for they have not rejected you, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them. 13. Now therefore, here is the king whom you have chosen and whom you have desired, and take note, the Lord has set as a king over you. So the first king, take note, not unlike pagan kings. Your king has been set by the Lord. That is, your king must be an instrument of the Lord. Verse 14, if you fear the Lord and serve him and obey his voice and do not rebel against the commandment of the Lord, then both you and the king who reigns over you will continue following the Lord your God. A king under the lordship of God can rearrange the people properly. The chain of authority should never stop to God the sovereignty. So Saul was to be the king, but the Lord was to be over Saul. A husband under the lordship of Christ can really have a lordship over his family properly. Otherwise, he cannot do so. Matthew 8:8-9. The centurion answered, said, Lord, I am not worthy that you should come under my roof, but only speak a word, and my servant will be healed. For I also am a man under authority, having soldiers under me, and I say to this one, so, and he goes, and to another, come, and he comes, and to my servant, do this, and he does it. Ephesians 5:20-25. For the husband is the head of your wife, as also Christ is the head of the church, and he is the Savior of the body. Therefore, just as the church is subject to Christ, so let wives be to their husbands in everything. Husbands, love your wives just as Christ also loved the church and gave himself to her. Verse 15. However, if you do not obey the voice of the Lord, but rather against the commandment of the Lord, then the hand of the Lord will be against you, as it was against your fathers. Preconditional warning. Whatever God warns you about anything, you better listen, because it is usually the place where you stumble. Verse 16. Now therefore, stand and see the great thing which the Lord will do before your eyes. Thunder and rain in the wheat harvest season was an unusual occurrence, because the wheat harvest season usually has no rain in Israel, so it would be suitable to dry up the harvest wheat. Otherwise, the wheat crops would be quickly rotted. Verse 7 is totally not the wheat harvest. I will to the Lord, and he will send thunder and rain, that you may perceive and see that your wickedness is great, which you have done in the sight of the Lord, is asking a king for your salvation. So God showed thunder and rain his displeasure upon Israel's demands for a king. So Samuel called to the Lord, and the Lord sent thunder and the rain that day. And all the people greatly feared the Lord and Samuel. 19. And all the people said to Israel, all the people said to Samuel, pray for your servants to the Lord your God, and that we may not die, for we have added to all our sins the evil of asking a king for our salvation. To set up this kingship or dynasty, 19, right? All the people admitted their demand for a king as the evil, although they did not withdraw the kingship, but they were cast not to be killed. 20. Then Samuel said to the people, do not fear. You have done all the wickedness, yet do not turn aside from following the Lord, but serve the Lord with all your heart. To set up this kingship or dynasty, follow the Lord and serve the Lord much more than any others. That is to keep this dynasty under God, the sovereign, unlike the pagan dynasties. 21. And do not turn aside for them. You will go after empty things which cannot profit or deliver, for they are nothing. If you don't seek the Lord, He will forsake you. Who may seek empty things. 1 Chronicles 29. As for you, my son Solomon, know the God of your father and serve Him with a loyal heart and with a willing mind. For the Lord searches all hearts and understands all the intents of the thoughts. If you seek Him, He will be found by you, but if you forsake Him, He will cast you off forever. Jeremiah 2:13. For my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewn themselves cisterns, water tank, broken cistern, broken water tanks that can hold no water. 2 Thessalonians 2:11-12. And for this reason, God will send them strong delusion, that they should believe the lie, that they all may be condemned, who did not believe the truth, but had a pleasure in unrighteousness. 22, last question. And do not turn aside, for them you would go after empty things, which cannot profit or deliver, for they are nothing. If you don't seek the Lord, He will forsake you. Who may seek empty things. There, we'll let it cover it. 22. For the Lord will not forsake His people, for His great name's sake, because it has pleased the Lord to make you His people. For God's glory or pleasure, God will not forsake you. Because the Lord to make you His people, because they did not deserve, but God chose them by His grace. Deuteronomy chapter 7:17. The Lord did not set His love on you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any other people. For you were the least of all people, but because the Lord loves you, because of God's love, God's grace, because He would keep the oath with His word to your fathers, and the Lord has brought you out in mighty hand and redeemed you from the house of bondage, from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. John 15:16. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you that you should go and bear fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatever you ask the Father in my name, He may give you. Ephesians 1:6. Just as He chose us in Him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and without blame before Him in love, having predestined us to adoption as sons by Jesus Christ to Himself, according to the good pleasure of His will, to praise of the glory of His grace, by which He made us accepted in the beloved. And by them, all the people will be blessed through Jesus, the Messiah. That is the second. Now the Lord had said to Abraham, get out of your country, from your family, and from your father's house, to a land that I will show you, I will make you a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great. You shall be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse him who curse you. And in you, all the families of the earth shall be blessed. 23. Moreover, as for me, far be it from me that I should sin against the Lord in ceasing to pray for you. And I will teach you the good and righteousness. That's the last question. Samuel told the people to pray always for you, for them, to teach it good and the right way. That is to teach the word of God right away in the word of God. To teach the word of God sincerely in the sight of God, who is good and righteous. 1 Thessalonians 5:16-18. Rejoice always, pray without ceasing. In everything give them. This is the will of without ceasing. 2 Corinthians 2:17. For we are not, as so many, peddling the word of God, but as of sincerity, but as from God. We speak in the sight of God in Christ. 2 Timothy 4, to preach the word. Be ready in season, out of season, convinced, rebuke, guilt, with all long suffering and teaching. So we especially, our word ministry, should be exhorted to the soul. Only fear the Lord and serve him in truth with all your heart, for consider what great things he has done for you. See verse 6. Remember God's great works in your life and serve him in his word with love from your hearts. Verse 25. If you still do wickedly, you shall be swept away, both you and your king. If you continue in sin, you will not enjoy fellowship with God. You and your king will end up destroying yourselves. Not the people and the king are under God's the sovereign. Okay, we covered all the questions. Let's see all together.